In the first chapter, God speaks, and a universe obeys. Light, sky, sea, stars, a whole cosmos called into being from a distance, by command. And then, in the second chapter, the same God does something he has not done with any galaxy or any sea. He comes close. He kneels down. And he makes one creature not with a word, but with his hands. This is the history of the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, and the story narrows. No plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. The finished world is waiting for someone to be in it. Then a mist went up from the earth, and watered the whole surface of the ground. And here is the most personal verse in the Bible so far. The Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Notice what God does not do. He does not say, "Let there be a man," the way he said, "Let there be light." He gets down into the dirt. The word for formed is the potter's word, hands in the clay, the shaping pressed into the cheekbones. And then God does the most intimate thing one being can do to another. He leans over the lifeless shape and breathes his own breath into it, mouth to face, the way you breathe life back into someone you love. The first man does not arrive by decree. He arrives in the hands of God, close enough to feel his breath, before there is a single commandment, before there is a single word spoken to him. There is touch, and there is breath. The relationship comes first, and the God who made him by hand now provides for him by hand. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Out of the ground the Lord God made every tree to grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. Pleasant to the sight. God does not give the man mere fuel, he gives him beauty. And in the middle of the garden stand two trees, the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Hold on to those two. A river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted into four. The Pishon, through the land of Havilah, where the gold is good. The Gihon, through the land of Cush. The Hiddekel, which runs in front of Assyria, the river we now call the Tigris. And the fourth, the Euphrates. Two of those rivers still run today, through modern Iraq. This is not a relationship set once upon a time in no place. It is pinned to the real earth, with real water, given to a real man. The Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and keep it. This is not a master and a pet. The man is given work and a trust, a whole world to tend on God's behalf, and one command, the only fence in all of Eden.
You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but you shall not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you will surely die.
1,000 yeses and one no. Real relationship always has a shape you can break. Then God looks at the man he has made and provided for, and says the most surprising thing in the chapter.
It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him.
Everything in chapter 1 was good, and very good. The first thing God ever calls not good is loneliness. The God who is himself a relationship, who has never once been alone, looks at his image and will not leave him by himself. So out of the ground the Lord God formed every animal of the field and every bird of the sky, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. God does not name them over the man's head. He hands the world to him and watches. And whatever the man called every living creature, that became its name. The man names all the livestock, and the birds of the sky, and every animal of the field. But in all that parade, for the man there was not found a helper comparable to him, he can name the whole world and still be alone in it. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its place. And the Lord God made a woman from the rib which he had taken from the man, and brought her to the man. God himself makes her, and God himself brings her, walking her down the first aisle. Not from the man's head to rule him, the old teachers said, and not from his foot to be trampled, but from his side, near his heart. And the man, silent through 1,000 animals, finally speaks, and it is poetry.
This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
Therefore a man will leave his father and his mother, and will join with his wife, and they will be one flesh. The God who is personal made a creature who is personal for relationship in his own image. And the chapter ends on one quiet, astonishing line. The man and his wife were both naked, and they were not ashamed. No fear, no hiding. Fully known by God and by each other, and entirely unafraid. This is what we were made for, and what we have been looking for ever since. To be that known, and still that safe. It will not survive the next chapter. But it tells you what God was always after. Not servants at a distance, kept in line by command. A people he could shape with his own hands, breathe his life into, walk beside, and call his own.